What's going on, everyone? My name is Dominic Delgado. Welcome back to the channel and to another video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about IDEANOMICS, ticker symbol IDEX, the overall Biden's administration plan to electrify industrial vehicles, looking at the niche that IDEX serves for this purpose and the overall supply and demand for EV consumers. A quick rundown on what IDEX does and how it can change a lot of things in the future, even though this is a speculative company. On top of that, looking at their Q4 earnings they just released in the past weeks, some major catalysts coming up in March, and potential options plays you can do with this with a big bullish sign in the $5 range. So taking a look at the overall past 3 months of the IDEX, we have seen them go from $1.10 all the way up to the $5.40 range, with the overall market being in a slight pullback and taking a quick breather. IDEX did drop down to the $3.10 range and had an amazing 13% gain today, ending off with $3.63. Now myself, I have been keeping this on my watch list for quite some time. I did take a position back here at $3.10 in the beginning of January and have not yet added more into my position, but with this pullback down to about the same range, this would be a great time to buy in if you are a new investor for IDEX or if you want to continue to build your portfolio with them. So we'll go ahead and look at the executive order that Biden signed on his first day of presidency. So with this executive order, Biden did plan to electrify 650,000 gas-powered vehicles in the government fleet, and this move has been seen before with the USPS. On top of that, the transportation of public buses. With the whole world on the transition to go to electric vehicles, we can see IDEX does play a big role in the two immediate obstacles that IDEX does see with this transition is the availability of power and the time it takes. On top of that, to deploy meaningful high-powered charging infrastructure, we may be able to see the performance of the actual buses being charged, but it's just a high demand for being able to set up these locations. But with this being a potential pullback for the overall market with IDEX, they do say they need to take a leap of faith that just like building out cellular infrastructure can drive a massive adoption of the mobile devices, building out the EV charging infrastructure with drive EV adoption to the max. We have seen Tesla and other companies in the EV market have been doing very good over the past couple of years and continue to outperform every year, showing the overall transition into the EV market. We have already seen in the past 6 months the acceleration into the transition of EV due to the talks with the overall climate change and global warming. So although they have the resources and fundamentals to go ahead and implement these things into our society, they are struggling with the amount of power we can get in. I do personally believe the sooner we get into renewable energy for the EV market, this will significantly increase these companies such as IDEX to further potential themselves into the acceleration of putting out these products. So why is IDEX so important, and what do they specifically cover with their company? They are in the niche of the EV market for industrial components. So with this particular stock, it is a lot of speculation around this company. As we have seen in the past, they have changed their name multiple times, and on top of that, there's specific reach they want to go for. But with most speculative plays, the high risk you take in the beginning, if they do turn out to go well, you are going to be generously rewarded. And when it comes to penny stocks like these, it's always good to do your research and know exactly what you're getting yourself into before you put your money there. And I do see this being a long-term play if we look at the overall transition we're going to in the future. So the first thing I wanted to take a look at was the acquisition of BYD. This is an electric tractor company, and with the increase of demand for organic foods get a lot of headlines. We can already see this as well in the transition, as many retail companies such as Taco Bell, McDonald's are pushing to turn their menus into a more plant-based friendly. And as the demands grow for the plant-based foods, we can also see a demand for tractors and infrastructure. So the void that IDEX will be specifically looking at in this niche is the transition of tractors going to electronics. So some questions you might be asking yourself is, really tractors a great company to get invested with? Well, we can see there are 570 million farms worldwide, and 90% of them are run by individuals or family. And on top of that, you can subtract those families' farms in developing countries and number of farms globally, is still the region of 50 million. So although a niche in tractors is very specific, we can see there are going to be 570 million potential clients, especially when they're asking for more environmental friendly components to help them with their farms. And with the implementation of IDEANOMICS, their tractors, it'll be easier for these farmers to go ahead and charge their batteries quicker. One of their latest acquisitions was in a company called Wave, and this was in early of this year. They are based in Utah, and they are the leading provider of inductive charging solutions for medium and heavy duty electric vehicles. What they do is embed their charging stations in roadways and charging vehicles during scheduled stops. The amount of time that the bus is stopped over these charging stations. So what Wave does is set up these charging platforms that buses will go ahead and stop at when they're at their new locations, and the time it takes for the passengers to unload and load, it'll give the system some time for it to charge the batteries for an instantaneous charge. And with this, you can potentially see them going for a 24/7 driving period. So with this being a penny stock, there was big speculation on how well IDEX was going to do for the Q4 earnings of 2020. But we did see the annual report come out, and they estimated a 3.8% return. But they beat that by a substantial amount, going from $1.32 per their EPS to $1.37 share. And their bottom line also grew a total of 3% from a year ago. With IDEX being in specific niches as well for the Wave company, we have potentially a lot more catalysts we can see. One of the newest ones coming out is going to be on March 4th. At 1:15 after market bell closes. And at this meeting, we can see them talk about the fleet electrification in the US. We have already seen Biden in the talks with USPS, and they did recently just deny the contract with Workhorse, so IDEX could be a potential player in this niche as well. The second catalyst we have coming up is going to be on March 10th at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And this will specifically be talking about the Wealth Food Tech 101 webinar. And their involvement in this is going to be talking about their overall tractors, how technology innovation will make food safe, plentiful, nutritious while improving our environment. And their final upcoming catalyst we know of so far is the 33rd annual Roth conference. This is going to be held on March 17th. But the biggest one we need to look forward to is a March 4th call, on top of them talking about the opportunities they can have. They're also going to be talking about the limitations we have as well in the big industrial vehicles. As talked about earlier in the video, with the overall market pullback, we have seen a big dip, and this is a great time to buy in. Many people are very bullish on this penny stock. As you can see today, there was 10,000 people holding the open interest of $4, another 13,000 on the 5, and 7,000 on the 450. Great numbers for the upcoming weeks to the run up on March 19th. And in total, 12,000 of these contracts were sold today. So with the overall bullishness on the stock, you can see as well the contracts are very cheap, sitting around $16 per contract. And the payouts will be absolutely insane if they do play out. But taking a look over at the put side, there's hardly any volume. Another great bullish sign for us, indicating more people are willing to put money into the stock than take out. So with that being said, I do personally think IDEX is a great company to be in for the long term. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below if you're going to be taking a position in IDEX, or if you think the fundamentals of the company is still on the shaky side. Got for you guys in today's video. If you did enjoy, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.